knowing that you're doing the right thing and you're reinventing yourself, that you're standing in your integrity and who you are to get to the next spot in your life. Okay, so that was my trauma 1. Trauma 2 happened 4 years ago. 4 years ago, and this trauma 2 is actually what got me into really overcoming everything and getting me to where I am right now. Trauma 2 happened 5 years ago, Thanksgiving Eve. I find out that my husband comes home, and talk about addictions. My husband comes home completely tripping out. Had no idea what was going on with him. Had no idea. We were married for 17 years at the time, and over the course of Thanksgiving Eve for 4 days, 5 days actually, it came out to me, remember I have 3 boys, that he has been cheating on me for 14 of those years with men, doing drugs, alcohol, and sex. So again, my truth, right? So I'm standing in my truth right now. What got me through those 5 days? What got me through those 5 days was literally going back to my trauma 1. Had I not gotten over trauma 1, I never would have gotten over trauma 2. Mm-hmm. Amen. Can I get an amen? Amen. It really is what got me through my second trauma in life. Now, go from there. How am I even here right now? And that's what everybody kept asking me. Like, how are you even there? Like, how are you okay? Why aren't you on the floor crying on these beautiful rugs? Right? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Here's why. Because what did I do? During those 5 days, I listened. I learned to forgive. I learned to have compassion. I learned to have in myself my own truth, inspiration, and hope. He couldn't take my voice. He had his. He wasn't living an authentic life. I was. All of these years. I still had my truth from when I was 17. Even if people didn't believe me, there will be people in your life that don't believe you. Even if people don't believe you, you are still standing in your integrity, so what can go wrong? That's what I kept thinking. As I'm standing before him and I'm looking at him, it took me a matter of 5 seconds for me to go, I hate you, to I will forgive you. Because I cannot live in hate. Have you ever heard that expression, anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die? That is what I could not do. Right? So, that, and I had 3 boys to raise, amazing boys that I was not going to ever allow to crumble before me, right? These are my amazing children. So I hit the water. So I started taking up paddling, even more than I was prior to. And I found that my connection to nature and my connection to the earth and my connection to what, that's why I literally was like, I can't even wear shoes. Like, I can't do it. My connection to what is beneath me is what grounded me. So I started running, even more than I already had been. I started paddling and I started hiking. And I was finding that through that, I was finding my clarity. Through discharging and releasing my anger. Through sitting there thinking, you know, in 4 miles offshore, how could he do that to me? And just crying it out. That is what got me to where I was, to where I am right now. I would take my paddle. I literally tell Joe Bark, I ride a bark board, and I told him over and over and over again, I said, your bark board saved my life. Because I would paddle 4 miles offshore and I would take that paddle and I would pound the crap out of the ocean. And literally, and I go like, okay, well, I hope this thing doesn't break, because if it does, I can't swim very well, because I literally can't swim very well. And I can't, it's really a bad thing. But that's what I would do. And I found that by connecting myself, by connecting my soul, connecting my spirit, connecting to what we have, not through this, right, but through this, is what got me through it. That is why I started doing the work that I started doing. I ran a total of 5, which nobody has to do this, 50-mile marathons. Ooh. And the reason I did them consecutively, I know, sister, I get it. I'm not doing another one. I did my 5, I got my plaque, that's all I need. But by running, what I would do is before I would go onto that trail, I would set an intention. My intention would be, what is it that I'm running for today? Is it because I'm trying to find clarity in my business? Is it because I'm trying to find clarity in my kids? Is it because I'm trying to find clarity in, how could he? Whatever it was, I set an intention for that particular physical activity. And then through all of that, when I finished my 50-mile marathons, I came out of that and I remember thinking, oh my God, I feel whole again. Like I came through that finish line, I was like, I feel like myself. I feel good. So I went back to school and I got my certification to be a professional life and leadership coach. I went back and got my wilderness first responder certification, oldest woman there.
Woo!
Yeah. And I went and I applied and I got my CUA, my certificate to actually guide in the Grand Canyon. And every time I'm down there, they're like, what do you do? We still don't get it. Why? I don't understand all this crying and stuff that goes on. I don't understand all this laughter and how do you have all these emotions and what's going on? Even with the guys, it's awesome. So because I was also spending so much time in the Grand Canyon, during that time I was thinking, I want to bring people here. I want people to experience this. I want people to feel what it's like to feel whole again with this earth. I want people to get inspired and empowered and to release their emotions and leave it down the Colorado River and not carry it back out. I want people to literally look at it like by going deep, you're healing yourself and coming out the other side. Mm-hmm. So that's why I started doing what I do. And I run these retreats about 4 or 5 times a year. And then I also, like I said, I guide also in the 6-pack of peaks down here. So I do that as well. I guide people up all different kinds of mountains. And through all of that, that's where I find that people find their truth and their own inspiration and their own hope. So I am actually in the process right now of writing my own book, and it has been a process because I wrote so much of it, and then they were like, "Yeah, that's too much. It's just way too. You got to scale back." And so I'm in the process of that, and I'm also in the process of a documentary that is being worked on, which is pretty cool too. And it's interesting. I still do my crazy adventures for myself. I do one a year. And the one that I'm doing tomorrow is in benefit for epilepsy. We are, Joe Bark, the same guy who, I ride his board. We are doing a paddle to Catalina Island tomorrow.
What?
And then we're running a marathon on Saturday and we're paddling home on Sunday.
Oh my God.
And here's the reason we're doing it. We're doing it because, here's the reason we're doing it. We're doing it because 3 years ago, I decided to go out on a paddle, and I went out, and I got lost in the fog.
Oh, Lord.
Oh my God.
So I'm paddling, and I'm literally 4 miles offshore, and all of a sudden I can't see. It's like I looked up, and I went, oh, shit. I am so screwed. Didn't have a phone, didn't have a watch, didn't have anything. Didn't have a compass, which now I'm actually a Brunton compass ambassador. So there you go. Wish I'd have had it back then. Didn't have anything but myself. And when I was 4 miles offshore, I remember sitting there looking, going, oh my gosh, I could be run over by a boat. I can't see 10 feet in front of me. I can't see shore. I'm only seeing white. This is not good. And at that same moment, when I was 4 miles offshore, I remember thinking to myself, okay, girlfriend, you have everything within you to get back to who you need to be, to where you need to land. You have everything within you to get back to that harbor. I was off the Redondo Beach Harbor. So I flipped my board around, and I acted like Pocahontas, no lie. I was like, if Pocahontas can do it, y'all know Pocahontas?
Yeah.
Okay. If Pocahontas can do it, so can I. And I'm not kidding, I literally thought that. It was kind of funny. And I started writing, I was watching the swell, and I was thinking, okay, everything in your life has meaning to it. Every person that you're crossing, every one of you are here for a reason. Every single bug that I cross has a reason for it. Every single animal I cross has a reason for it. And I remember thinking, okay, the swells, read the swells. Okay, just like you're reading your breath, just like you're reading, the sidewalks, just like you read the swells. Okay, read the wind. Okay, read the current. Okay, call for dolphins. I really did say it. 2 miles in, this big pod of dolphins comes out. No lie. And they're around me. They're literally surrounding me. I'm like, okay, I called for the dolphins. Awesome. Dolphins are taking me in. So, this is a true story. So I keep heading in. I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I'm like, got dolphins coming up next to my board. Like, I'm just, jamming, fog. And I look up, and there is the mouth of the harbor.
Woo.
And I remember thinking to myself, damn girl, if you can find it within you 4 miles offshore in the fog to get to where you need to be, you're going to be just fine.
There you go.
You're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
You're going to get back to where you need to be. Right? So my point to all of you is, we all have it. We all have our inner compass. We all have our intuition. We all have that faith. We all have that thing within us to do whatever it is that you need to do. Truth, inspiration, hope. The 3 things. That's all it is. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, on that, on this Women's Day, I do want to give credit to my mom, who she called me before I came over here, and she was like, I want you to have a really nice night. I don't think my mom even realizes what she did to me through the walking every step when I was 17 years old. And just remember that every one of you make a difference. If you may realize it or not, every single one of you make a difference. Every one of you. And sometimes it's hard to accept when you have made a difference. This was the hardest thing for me. The hardest thing for me was not starting a business, was not getting my, business name, none of that. The hardest thing for me was actually sitting back and going, I'm gonna make a difference. This is my why. This is my purpose. With all the stuff I've been through, this is why I'm here, right? Just like my mom has gone through so much to get me to where I am, and my dad, I love my parents to death. Oh my gosh, they're amazing, but it is Women's Day. So, sorry, Dad. I mean, hey. I want to honor all of you.